Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Driveway Engineer. I'm JR, this is Jack. Today we're going to talk about carburetors versus EFI. Everybody loves to say that carburetors are toilets. It's a toilet. If you run a carb, you're a caveman, banging rocks together, you're afraid of wires. EFI, it's modern, it's smart, it's always better for every single use case for everybody, every time. Except that's not actually true, like at all. So today we're going to talk real quick about carb swapping in LS, when it makes sense, when it doesn't, why most of the internet is confidently wrong about it, as is typical. So let's get into it. So, the number one reason, goodbye Jack, to carb swap in LS is you already have a fuel system and a carb. Like if you have a drag carb built around, you have a good fuel pump, a regulator, a nice carb, a nice nitrous setup. Nitrous is expensive nowadays. If that's all there and you've just blown up your small block and you're like, man, I don't want to build another 383 for $1 million, I can just swap a 5.3 in and be real close. That's a great reason to carb swap in LS. Like you're not reinventing the wheel, you're not trying to screw around with a new fuel system and trying to have, everything's got to be high pressure now, 58 psi. You're not running new wiring and relays, and you're not buying tanks, pumps, filters. You just putting your carb in where it already was, especially if it was already a Chevy. You're on some adapter plates and you're ready to go. That's like peak broke ass engineering. That's a good way to go. Another entirely valid reason, like I talk to people, I got a 32 Ford or a 39 Ford or something. I want the look. I totally understand. Like I get it. And again, to reference if you go look for a Blueprint 383, which is like the hot rodder crate engine of choice, they're like $6,000 now. You can get a 5.3 or a 6 liter or a 4.8 and, be ready to go. Depending on which displacement you get and what you do to it, you'll be real close in power to something like that anyway. You just want the look. Like, you don't have to, because you want to or because you like the way it works is an entirely valid reason to do something. And if you just say, yep, I know it's not quite as good and I know it's going to cost a little more, but I want it to look right, that's a good reason. The third reason, and the reason that I'm doing it to my K20, is I want just a straight, simple one-to-one swap, right? Like I want to take, my K20 has a 350 in it right now. And I have a 6 liter in my C10 that I'm going to take out and replace with an 8.8. So I'm going to have an engine left over. I'm going to have a 6 liter left over. It's used. It's been in my truck for a while. I'm going to put it up on Marketplace. It's going to sit forever. People are going to lowball me, ask me stupid questions, ghost me. People in the comment section are going to try to buy it, and then they're never going to show up, and I'm never going to hear from them again. I don't really want to do all that until I scrap it, over trying to get $500, $600, $700 on an engine. It's stupid. Right? So, and I have this 350 in my truck that looks cool. It's got cool valve covers and everything like that. If I'm going to but it makes, it probably doesn't even make 200 horsepower, right? So, if I'm going to get lowballed and irritated and wind up with the same amount of money anyway or scrapping it anyway, why would I not just go ahead and use the higher power, higher value engine myself? So, for my K20, I don't have to move a transmission. I don't have to screw with any drive shafts. I'm not going to mess with the transfer case. I'm not doing it. I don't care about overdrive. I just am going to drop it in on the cheapest plates with the little $12 flywheel spacer, bolt it straight to the stock flex plate, and be done. That truck already has low pressure fuel tank. All I need to do is get an electric pump and a little regulator, which Evil Energy's already provided me with. So I'm good to go. I don't have to re-engineer the whole car. I don't have to do anything. That's a good reason why. And later on, if I want to, I say, all right, I want a 4L80. I'm going to get rid of the MP203. I'm going to do a 241 or a 205, make it complicated, whatever. I can do that down the road. But right now, this is a swap that I can do in like a day, right? So, there's that. Now, there are we'll flip it around and do 3 real quick cons or reasons why you shouldn't, or things that you shouldn't believe. And the number one thing that I see all the time is people say, well, it's easier. It isn't. It isn't easier to put a carburetor on your LS than it is to put the factory EFI on it. Especially if you're buying a complete engine that already runs from a wreck or a donor or whatever, as I tell you to all the time. You take that whole thing and you apply 12 volts in ground and 58 psi of fuel to it, and it will run for all of time, right? You don't have to screw around with anything. If you carb swap it, then now you still have wiring. You're going to have to wire up your box or your factory computer, whatever you want to use. You still have to screw with the ignition control. You still have to wire the box in. You still have to wire the coil packs and everything else. It's not any easier. It's just not. And it's cheaper. It's cheaper is the second big one, and that's kind of the biggest lie on the internet. It's the same kind of justification that people use to like say, well, I had to buy this Holley EFI because it's actually cheaper, you see, because if I got an aftermarket harness for my factory PCM, that would be $800, and then if I had it tuned, that would be, $500, and I would find anyway. They do this weird like government math. You know how the government says, well, actually we're going to spend, last year we spent $1 trillion, and this year we're going to spend 1.2 trillion, and we're saving money because we were going to spend 1.5 trillion, but we cut it, so we've cut your taxes by $300 billion. Like, that's the reason why that shit works is because people do it to themselves, right? For one thing, a carb isn't cheaper because carburetors are expensive now. Like a base model, what my go-to Holley carburetor, a simple 750 double pumper, is $750 now. That's insane. I don't pay $750 for engines. So again, I'm mentioning it again, throw it out there. Evil Energies hooked me up. They have some clone carburetors and they're very affordable, and I have one downstairs. So you guys will get to see that here. Because the fact that carbs are expensive just annoys me, and I went looking for a solution, and I feel like I found one. But yeah, intakes, you got to buy an intake, whereas if you just used your engine as is from the donor, you'd already have the intake. Even though it's ugly, you'd have it. You got to do linkage, you got to do a fuel regulator. Factory EFI engines are everywhere. They pooped out 300,000 trucks a year for 20 years. It's just, if you follow my channel and you do it my way, where you use a factory harness, or even if you get like a $90 Amazon harness, I've shown they work again and again. Use PCM Hammer to delete your VATs and you're done. Or buy a $45 VATs deleted PCM off eBay. They're everywhere nowadays. There's tons of people with unlimited HP credits. It's just there's not all the hurdles that you would think there are. So, and then you get the benefits of keeping your overdrive transmission, your 4L60, your 4L80Es. It's the quickest way, really. It's not cheap. It's the quickest, cheapest way to get an engine running is with the factory EFI. The last one is that carbs are easier to tune, and that kind of tells me more about the person than the engine. Like, I watch people all the time. They'll build an engine, and they'll sometimes even an LS. I've seen this literally play out. Somebody will build a fairly schmedium, what they think of as a rowdy LS, stage 2, sloppy stage 2 cam, and some valve springs, and they'll slap a carb on it, and it won't run right. They'll get a Edelbrock, and it doesn't run right. And they don't know how to do shit but set the idle speed and the idle mixture, maybe. They don't screw with the timing. They don't check for vacuum leaks. They just take that carb off and they go get a quick fuel brawler, and that one has got a bog, and so then they buy some other carbs, a Holley or whatever, and that one doesn't work. So then they buy a Sniper because it's going to tune for them. I've literally seen somebody take an LS with factory EFI, take it off, go through 3 carburetors, then get a Sniper, then a standalone for a 4L80. Like, they circle of life in the stupidest way possible. Carburetors are not hard to tune, and you can learn how to do it. But there are hard parts involved. Like, you may need to change jets. You may need to change accelerator pump cams. You may need to change squirters. If vacuum secondary is what they push on everybody, I don't like them, but you're probably going to wind up with a vacuum secondary carb. You're listening to the internet, then you got to screw with springs, and it can be very tiresome. And then you got to open up your float bowls over and over again, spill gas everywhere again and again. Whereas with an EFI, you're just on a laptop. You just make a few changes, and like really, these have been done so many times. You don't even need to tune. Just get a cookie cutter tune. Like you either got a stage 1 or a stage 2 cam, and you're probably not special. But yeah, when people say that carbs are easy to tune, or I can tune them with if somebody tells me they can tune a carb with a screwdriver, they don't know what it takes to tune a carburetor at all. Last but not least, and a lot of people miss this, like you don't need an MSD or a Daytona Distributors box to run a Carb LS. The factory PCM will run a carb setup. The VATS, the vehicle anti-theft protection in a factory EFI PCM, it's looking for a crank trigger and a cam trigger to fire the coils, and it's looking for a VAT signal to say that it's okay to fire the injectors, but you have a carb, so as long as it keeps seeing RPM, it'll keep firing those coils and it'll run. And if you hook up a map sensor and a throttle position sensor, you can still run your factory electronic transmission. So yeah, you still get the coil in your plug ignition, you still get timing control, the maps are there if you have Tuner Pro, PCM Hammer, Universal Patcher, whatever you're using. It's still an LS, and you're still getting an engine that was built to much better manufacturing standards, Six Sigma kind of design philosophies, than any Gen 1 stuff. So really, like, the final take here is that carb swapping in LS isn't wrong at all. Like, you can't just flatly jump to judgment, but people love to do that because they love to just hit that comment for a little laugh react and a little dopamine hit. But you don't know if it's wrong or right without knowing what the person's doing. Doing it for the wrong reasons is, if you want the look, that's cool. Like I said, because I want to is a perfectly valid reason to do things. That little truck behind me here, because I want to, is useless, but I like it. So there you have it. If you want the look, again, I understand that in some circumstances, many circumstances. I did one up back in the day that looked like an Olds rocket engine, and had Olds valve covers and hid the coils, and it was great. And that's what the guy wanted, and that's what we did, and made him happy. And he still had a modern drivetrain, but it didn't look out of place when he popped his hood at the Sonic. You already have parts. Like I said, you already have a nitrous system. You already have bump boxes and things like that. You already have a nice carburetor that you know how to work on. Totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. I get it. If you think it's cheaper or easier, you're lying to yourself, and you're being lied to. But at the end of the day, you have to do what makes sense for your project and for you. And having all the information before you make a decision is the way to do that. So again, I have an EFI truck. I will have a carb truck. Actually, I'll have an EFI 4Runner with my 5.3, and I'll have a carb LS with a 6-liter in my K20. And why? Because they're each serve a purpose. So I hope that helps, and I thank you for watching. Jack and I are going to go to bed, and we'll see you next time on The Runaway Engineer. See ya.